Welcome to the Filmistines, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/Filmistines. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $5 tier grants the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience.
They're an experience.
All around you. And welcome back to the Filmistines. We're glad to have you here with us, the listener, not my co-host.
Yeah, I'm not glad. Or you're not glad I'm here, or you're not glad, or I'm not glad.
As long
they're
as
here.
someone's not glad, I'm
not
glad. All right.
I'll take
That's how
it.
that. You can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes of the Filmistines covering all sorts of films. Recently, we've covered Sunshine, Insidious Chapter 2, Her, No Hard Feelings, Elemental, Spider-Man Across the Universe, and of course, go check out Beau is Afraid, my favorite movie of the year. Our ultimate Pixar ranking, Barbie, Decision to Leave, Oppenheimer, so many great films this year. Not all those films came out this year, of course. Sunshine came out like 40 years ago, and it looks like it. But I am joined today by my lasagna-eating friend, Lucy.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
You know what? I don't like being your lasagna eating friend. I don't particularly like lasagna. It's okay. I'll eat it, I guess, if it's the last thing there is to eat, and I'm super hungry. Maybe I'll grab some lasagna, but it just kind of gives me heartburn. And it's just too much cheese and too much red sauce.
Red gravy.
Yeah, red gravy. My bad. I'm not Italian enough.
Yeah, Italian food, American Italian food especially, kind of sucks. It's all just... It's just heartburn in a dish, basically. Yeah, and I feel you. And it's just, how many different ways can we combine pasta and red gravy? You know? All right, that's fine and all. I know everybody has their favorite noodle and everything. I will say lasagna. I'm not a lasagna fan either, but I will say lasagna is at its best when it's about a day old, sitting in the fridge, and you reheat it, because it's all like congealed and together at that point. Because when you make fresh lasagna, the layers separate too easily. I will say. And lasagna's defense.
Fresh lasagna? Like homemade lasagna?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I've had actual homemade lasagna. I usually just buy that shit from the freezer section at your local supermarket, or buy it at a restaurant. But I'm not gonna pick an Italian restaurant to go eat at.
Nope.
I guess American Italian. Your Fazoli's, your that's the first one that came to mind. Your what's the other one? Olive Garden.
These are, I don't even know if these are Italian.
What's that other one? I don't know. But I'm either going for chicken Alfredo or chicken Alfredo. And if there's no chicken Alfredo, I'm going for a salad. But every once in a while, I'll get risky, want to try the lasagna, and just regret my choices. I'm like, damn, I really spent $15 on a tiny little square of heartburn.
And carbs.
Heartburn
and carbs.
Yep.
You must love Mondays if you don't like lasagna.
Not gonna lie, I'm excited for a good Monday. On Sunday, I'm not excited for a Monday, but on Monday, I'm excited for a Monday.
Today we are covering the lasagna-loving, Monday-hating Garfield, the movie, the 2004 classic film of mediocrity, straight to DVD, straight to Nickelodeon.
Straight to DVD?
No, I went to theaters.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. It's actually quite the hit at theaters, too.
Good. It deserves it.
It was pretty crazy, actually, because I can imagine a Garfield film being made today, being made in such a way that Garfield is just the comic relief and John is going to be, the kind of the main character. And so I got to appreciate the times of a Garfield movie casting a mega famous person, first of all, to be Garfield. We'll talk about that. But also, like, making a Garfield story, a proper Garfield story. I'm not familiar with the comics, to be fair. I'm sure they are very Garfield oriented.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure the movie, in a way, does the comics justice in that way, at least. But yeah, we are covering a seminal film to your childhood. Yes?
It wasn't the first film I watched, or, well, obviously not that I watched.
That would be
but...
funny, because you would have been 9.
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
Or 10, maybe.
You telling my age here? Dang.
Oh, shit. I mean, you would have been 4.
Sure, we'll go for it.
Yeah.
But it was definitely one of the first films that it made me like a cat, really. I wasn't a big cat person, not a cat fan, especially after I had a friend who had a cat and it scratched me, so I was, a little scarred.
That seems to happen to folks. They get these early traumatic experiences with a cat, and they don't realize at the time that getting scratched by a cat is part of the fun of owning the cat. So it ruins it.
Yeah, I definitely know that now. That
Yeah.
It's just what happens. It's what they do.
That's funny. I've always been a cat person, and I didn't really care about this movie.
Well, it made me really love Garfield and
a fictional cat.
And I was like, oh my god, I didn't know cats could be this fucking cute. And on top of that, I was already a little bit into the comics,
which is weird.
It is weird. I think so too. And for some reason I had a lot of Garfield coloring books too, and I like to kind of mimic the drawings I saw in the coloring books, so I drew them all the time. You know what else I drew? The little Pop-Tart people on the Pop-Tarts. That was a big thing. Like Garfield and Pop-Tart people.
That's very emo, I feel like. Drawing the Pop-Tart guys, that's very emo.
I draw them everywhere. On my body, on my notes at school, everywhere. But
the Garfield one's interesting. That's a funny poll, because that's not of our time. I don't think. No, right?
I don't think so. Because no one was... And I wasn't obsessed with Garfield. I didn't have the shirt or the plushes or anything like that. But I did like, I guess, just the animation and the illustration. It was for some reason really captivating for my 4-year-old self. And when this movie came out, I just loved it. It was hilarious. It was, I don't know how new CG was in 2004, especially in kids' films, but I'd never seen anything quite like that.
It was expensive in the beginning, so it was not super... It was pretty common, but it wasn't as... It seemed like people were willing to spend more money on it back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Films, I'm spoiling it here maybe a little before you, but films like this were much more expensive than you might think because of the CG.
Oh, well.
Like it's pretty crazy. We'll whoop that out later.
All right.
But yeah, CG was had been around since the 50s and 60s, so it had been kind of evolving over time.
Really?
Yeah. Compositing was a real popular way of using CG, basically doing kind of traditional animation and claymation over superimposed onto pre-filmed stuff. Not an expert or anything, but if some of you listeners would write in and correct me, that would be more than welcome. Give us a little rundown on the history of where CG's popped up.
So I put up a just quick wiki search, and it says the first feature film to use CGI, as well as the composition of live action film with CGI, was Vertigo, 1958.
Wow. Alfred Hitchcock.
1958? Holy fuck. Holy crap.
Some of the really early, like, superimposed kind of claymation CG is very cool looking.
Like what? What would I know?
I think there's a really good scene in Princess Diaries, although I'm not sure when the Princess Diaries was made.
Early 2000s, right?
Not the Princess Diaries. The Princess and the Bride, or whatever it's called.
Oh,
Princess
yeah.
Bride, whatever
I've
the
never
movie's
seen
called.
that one.
I think that
I don't know about that one. The Princess Diaries was my shit.
That's a classic.
That is a
People
classic.
do love
it's a classic.
the one of those films. I can't remember which one. It was either first or second, but
Just lame people like the Bride one. Princess Bride? I think that's what it's called.
yeah, I think that movie's got some kind of interesting stop motion happening. So it's kind of a form of CG and green screening type stuff, and so not kind of traditional CG what we think about today at least.
Okay. Yeah, that's...
And I'm sure for Vertigo it's similar. It's not traditional CG we kind of know and hate today.
No and hate. You hate. Yeah, Princess Bride was 87.
87, okay. I didn't think it was that old, but I was thinking maybe late 70s, but it just didn't. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
that makes sense because Andre the Giant's in it, so yeah.
I'm not watching something that old.
Yeah, you
Or
are.
I am now.
At the time, yeah.
At the time,
yeah.
I was not watching something that old.
Well, what about the first Dinosaurs movie?
That was what, 99?
Yeah, 99, 2000?
Yeah.
That was about,
That's on the line. That's making it into the entry. And it's a Disney film, so it gets a little bit of a pass. Because then you could bring in all the princesses. There's an exception there. But the Princess Bride, I'm assuming was not animated. Real people and an old movie? Probably was not watching that. So I guess Garfield's not super early. But still great. It was early to me.
And it was part of the boom, too. Where we just became obsessed with CG. This was 5 years before Avatar. So we...
Holy crap.
I will say Garfield looks pretty good. He ages pretty well. With the exception of, like, what he interacts with. Other than Odie, I feel like his interactions, which is like maybe a little funny because you'd think those interactions might be the harder ones to capture. But I guess maybe they're a little bit easier because they're quick and he's just hitting him.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are pretty good. But when he interacts with the fabrics and stuff, doesn't look super good, but doesn't really matter.
Yeah, when he interacts with the humans, to me, that's when I saw it the most.
Do these people know how to pet? They don't know how to pet cats?
No.
I don't know what that was about. They were like...
Especially the guy, the shelter popo dude that captured him. He picked him up to display him for that little girl. He picked him up and it was just so awkward. It was like one of his fingers was going through Garfield. I typically don't notice this stuff, but now with my new film Shinigami Eyes, I see stuff and I'm like, holy crap. So the love for this movie is still there, but I noticed the mistakes. I noticed the things they didn't hit it with. But yeah, that part, and then when I think John was petting him after he supposedly ate Louis the rat, and he was telling him he did a great job in petting him, and that was a little awkward too to watch. But the scenes with Odie, those were good. I mean, there were a few long ones too when I think Odie laid his head on top of Garfield's belly, or I guess his back. He's all belly, but his back, and he just laid his little head there, and it looked good. It looked like there was an Odie laying on a Garfield. Yeah. And then I think towards the end they also hug, and that didn't look bad either.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what they had Odie interacting with to make that look a little better and I don't know why John and these other people couldn't hold a thing that was going to represent Garfield a little truer either. Like it was a little awkward. The human interactions were weird, and I don't know why a dog's interacting with a green Muppet thing that they were filmed with better than humans are. I don't get it.
I did see like a little bit of behind the scenes, and that was hard to find.
I bet 2000, yeah.
Yeah. And apparently they had, for some of the human bits anyway, they had like a stuffed animal kind of puppet Garfield that they would interact with and kind of practice with, and then they would remove the puppet and the Garfield
completely
doll. Yeah, they would remove
so they would interact with nothing on screen.
So they would interact with nothing. Yeah, in some parts. So they would kind of practice that motion of interacting with it, and then they would remove the object. But I guess they didn't get enough practice.
Yeah, it's just
But why wouldn't they keep the thing there? Is that just harder?
Well, you'd want to make it a kind of green thing.
Okay, why wouldn't you keep a green
Yeah,
Garfield
I don't know
there?
why you wouldn't just keep a green Garfield there. That's what they should have done.
Oh, interesting. But I'm sure I didn't see anything about the Odie interaction, but maybe they did have some sort of green thing for Odie.
Yeah, it is hard to know. It is hard to know. It's hard to say, but it doesn't bother me too much because it just doesn't feel like it doesn't do the Marvel thing where I don't get lost in the CG. It's just Garfield. It's like it's not even. It's kind of funny and cheap looking at the end of the day, and you're gonna laugh at how expensive this movie is because of things like that.
I already think I went a little high, but now you say that, now I'm not
This
sure.
movie is insanely expensive for what it is.
And those interactions are pretty quick with the humans.
They are quick because they know that they know it looks bad, of course, but you think they would have tried to keep the camera a little bit off them. They wouldn't be front and center each time because even though Garfield is being handled, he doesn't need to be maybe at the center of the screen, so we can maybe kind of obscure the bad interaction. But that requires some serious kind of planning, and I'm sure it's very hard to get that in order when you're filming the movie and in post. Your post guys are gonna have to be very much involved on set, and that's, I know, becoming more and more common today because of how fast it is to edit things just on the fly these days. People are editing on set with color correcting, color grading like seconds after they film stuff today and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And then they'll show them on their tablets and everything, but like, what do you like? And so they're already getting things for post and order as soon as they're done filming certain things. Yeah, it's nuts. That's one reason you're seeing things made of such high quality in such quick succession too. Like I would say T West's, Pearl and X, and those two horror films.
Yeah, but I didn't know they were quick.
Yeah, they came out in the same year.
And they were the same director?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then we're seeing this again happen with Talk to Me, that new horror film with the hand, made by those two YouTube guys. And they've got two films. One of them, I think the prequel was already mostly filmed. And then they're already starting the second one. So they're going to have probably two films come out next year. And so it's pretty nuts how quick, those are horror films, are kind of lower key in general. And so they, it's just kind of natural for them to get out a little sooner, I guess. But it's pretty cool how that things have changed in that way. And Garfield would have benefited from that, of course. But especially for the price of how much it costs. You'd think they would have already had that. You think this would have involved cutting edge technology for how expensive this film was.
Oh my gosh.
I'm hyping this up more than I probably should. So you tell me.
I did think there were some good CG parts in here that I was surprised by how good they were. One was where Garfield was trying to get back inside the house and John had shut the door on him and he smacked his kitty face on the door, and it looked like he really smashed his head on the door.
Yeah.
And I would assume an action like that would be a little hard to do.
Yeah, that requires hardcore animation skills.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then when Odie licks him, and we just, I guess, mentioned a lot of the ones with Odie look fairly good, but I was just really surprised that this dog could be licking whatever it's licking, and they can just pop in a cat. Pretty cool.
Yeah. This dog had a great performance. It's probably one of the most impressive things about this film. I think some of that hopping was repeated. Like, they managed to get a good clip of him being real symmetric, and they managed to, like, get two hops in a row that were exactly the same. I think that happened every time he hopped, except when he was in the house. I feel like I saw that. I feel like they just kind of were able to kind of copy and paste that back to back. And I was like, that's actually pretty clever if you can make that look smooth. And I think they did a good job.
I think they did too.
Yeah,
I didn't even notice.
But I'm not sure if they did. They may just be trying to knock this film down. But I am impressed that they managed to get a dog to do all the twirls and hops and everything, and that's pretty cool. And it's crazy that they made Chapman do a backflip too. That was weird.
I know. I couldn't find anything on if that was him or a stunt double or how the fuck they did that, but that was cool.
I think they took him and then just flipped him like in an they just took stills of him and they just animated him flipping.
So he actually did a flip?
He was static, and then they got an image of him, and then maybe an image of him with his legs spread out a little bit more, and they just animated him. Like they took that first image, and then they put that second image up a little bit higher, and then
they flipped him literally on the editing.
In the editing, yeah.
Yeah, in the editing. Oh, that's funny. I didn't.
That's what I think they did here. No, I don't even think there was a stunt double. I think they just did that. So. Tell me why Odie is like the only animal that doesn't talk. Is he dumb?
He doesn't talk in the comic strips. So I think
that's important.
Yeah, I think they wanted to keep that there.
So Garfield's not the weird one here. He's not the only animal talking, obviously.
Yeah.
Odie's the weird one, which is kind of funny because I liked Garfield's friends and Big Bully. I guess he's kind of the bully, Garfield is. But the Doberman, I think that dog is, that big dog.
Yeah.
I liked the intro part basically with him talking to his friend and the gray cat. That's all cute. I like that. And I like that style of animation where we animate live animals, their faces. Like we're getting that again with Stray, this new film.
Okay.
I think that's really weird and just unsettling, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun style. One thing I really like about the intro too is that it keeps a lot of the cartoon elements. So, I mean, it's a fun watch. You know, you start out this film with him saying, "I hate Mondays." Like that's iconic Garfield line. And great way to incorporate that. And then he has this contraption to steal milk, and he steals a pie. And yeah, those are kind of crazy, silly little things, but they're funny because they're very cartoonish, very comic-ish. So I like that they kept a lot of that here in the film.
Yeah, I agree. I like they're almost, and it happens twice. I guess the milk thing happens twice, and then the other kind of Rube Goldberg type, like order of operations happens when he's
pissed because they just came back from the show and John ignored him, whatever. But he's pissed and he hits a ball out of anger, and then the ball knocks over a bunch of shit and eventually knocks over the desk. And that's what gets him kicked out.
That's right. And that the whole, that's a fun Rube Goldberg kind of thing that happens there, and I imagine that's always super fun to fit in where it makes sense, and they get that in twice here. I think that's cool.
And it made sense. Yeah.
And it makes sense. It helps feed the cartoon narrative. It sure does.
Going back to Odie a little bit, why did they make him look so mangy? Do you know what cartoon Odie looks like?
Yeah.
They couldn't have gone for a cuter dog? Was this the only dog that could dance on its hind legs?
Yeah, and had the color scheme.
Yeah. You're saying he had the color scheme? Yeah, okay. Because Odie's like yellowish. He's yellow, but then he's got some brown in him. So, okay. That makes sense. But couldn't have combed his fur? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
He looks too mangy.
He does look mangy.
I know he's supposed to be, I guess, a vet rescue.
Yeah, so he's got to be he's got to be mutt-ish, and yeah, so he's got to, I don't know if he's a mutt. I don't know if he's like a recognizable breed. I really am not familiar with that breed. If he is, his hair is kind of curly, so that makes him look mangier, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, he was probably chosen for the role because of his obedience. Yeah. He was able to hop like crazy. So they were like, I mean, we don't really have any other options. We got to go with this guy. So, because I'm sure that's a pain in the ass to work with, is animals.
Yeah.
Just like children.
I bet.
And old people.
Old people.
Yeah, they get tired. They can't do a lot of takes.
Damn.
So they better fucking pull it out quick. You know what I mean? Don't be fucking around, old people.
Do what you gotta do, then go home. Rest for your
Yeah,
next scene.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I get that. I assumed he was just supposed to be a mutt because he came from the vet and everything. And
Yeah, that makes a little more sense.
I wonder, how do you feel about, maybe it's in the comic. I guess, is Liz in the comic?
Yes.
Liz is in the comic.
And John. Well, obviously John.
Yeah, of course, John.
Duh.
I didn't know
Edit
Liz
that
was in the
out.
comic. That's interesting. Okay.
But I think comic Liz is more... She doesn't look anything like... I think John kind of looks like John. But
Yeah.
Liz doesn't look like Liz. And this Liz is very happy and optimistic. And the other Liz, I think, isn't.
Okay. Is she a vet?
Yes, I think she is a vet.
Okay.
I think.
Does Odie come into the picture in a similar way?
I don't remember that.
Okay. Just trying to understand where this narrative came from.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is awkward.
That she just gives him a dog so they could date.
Yes. And I know they'd put themselves in an awkward situation ever since high school, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it was like, it makes sense. But, okay. I'm okay with the narrative. I don't have a lot I don't like about this film, truthfully.
Really?
Yeah, this film is very okay in my book. It's inoffensive. It's like 60 fucking minutes. So it's pretty much the shortest feature film. By definition, it's hardly a feature film. It feels very, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it does feel very like Disney movie, like straight to Disney Channel or straight to Nickelodeon.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily a bad thing, but it does do very little for me, obviously. Go figure, right?
Wait, so you like it? Or
It's okay.
It's an okay. It's
It's
just
okay.
okay.
It's an interesting piece of, of cinema chronology. I can't believe this movie exists, I will say. I can't believe Bill Murray plays an animated cat. And the story behind that's stupid, of course.
Of course.
But it's a weird movie. It's kind of an uncanny, it's kind of a fever dream movie where I'm just like, I don't know about this. But it works okay. I am surprised by that. Surprised I don't hate it.
Okay. All right.
I will
I'll
say.
take that.
I
I'll
will
take
say.
that. Well, I'm glad this film exists. It's cute. It's fun. Did you laugh? Did anything make you laugh? A little bit? A little chuckle? A little smile?
The weird Black Eyed Peas song that pops up is funny. I wouldn't peg Garfield as a Black Eyed Peas fan, but that's cool, so that's kind of funny and stupid. Him hitting Odie over and over again, it's funny because a cat hitting a dog is, that's just funny stuff. And I like his funny Siamese friend who's like semi cross-eyed.
Normal.
He's fun. I like him. But I will just say it's kind of funny that Bill Murray's here because supposedly he thought the same thing I thought. He thought this movie was co-written by a guy named Joel Cohen. Not the Joel Cohen of the Coen brothers. He's not the same Joel. And I thought that at first too, but then I was like, I don't know if that Coen brother has an H in their name. And they don't. But Bill Murray said that he signed up before he knew that it was the wrong Joel. And that's kind of funny if that's true. I have a feeling that's not true. Because how do you not know that before you start working?
Yeah, you have to be really stupid if you're not
And Bill Murray's not
reading
stupid.
or research. Yeah.
He's embarrassed.
He's embarrassed.
Which is funny. And I can't. I can't. I did hear that he didn't even go on set. He wasn't even on set to record his parts. He did it remotely. Which after what he says feels very disrespectful. Because he just didn't want to even be part of the whole production or something. So it's kind of weird. Bill Murray's involvement, the whole Bill Murray involvement with this is strange. But they do like Garfield's voice.
Yeah, I think it fit. It fit his character. I think he did a great job. I don't know why he's embarrassed. I don't know why he would say these things. Just be proud. And okay, you got bad reviews. So what? Everything gets bad reviews.
90% of movies get terrible reviews.
Yes. You made children happy. You made me happy. Is that embarrassing? Shame.
This movie probably has one of the biggest fan bases, if you want to call it that. It's hard to say there's a Garfield movie fan base, but it probably has one of the biggest fan bases of all his movies. He's in a lot of Wes Anderson movies. And I don't think you're super familiar with Wes Anderson, right?
No.
They don't make very much money. So, not that money's everything, but Garfield probably did pave some of the way that allowed him to continue working with Wes Anderson as much as he does. Because he made a lot of money off of Garfield. I'm certain of that.
And then he was in the sequel. Did he voice the sequel?
I don't even know. That's a good question. I forgot about the Tale of Two Kitties. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties. I love that movie too. I'm so glad there was a sequel. He fucking played Garfield in the sequel.
Yeah.
Shut up, Bill Murray.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. He needs to chill with that. I don't know if he still says that, and maybe it's worth saying too that maybe when he said that, he was joking as well. It may have been one of these things that was totally taken out of context and just has completely taken on a new reputation. Because Bill Murray is a mega funny guy.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, he might have been mildly pissed that, let's say it's true, he didn't know it was the right Coen brother, or he didn't read the script, whatever, and he was pissed, but then he made a bunch of money, so now he's like, you know what? I like Garfield. People just ran with this narrative.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Because I've never seen, I don't know, even if you see it, it's one of those things that I don't know if you can take anything Bill Murray says so straight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't even know. I don't know if it's the same as like the Jerry Seinfeld thing in the B movie, because he's also very.
Bill Murray's in the B movie?
No. Jerry's similarly kind of embarrassed to have been part of the B movie. I think the difference is I think Jerry helped facilitate and pay for the B movie. So there's a little bit of a difference there. But I don't know. And Jerry also is a grumpy person. I wouldn't say Bill Murray's a grumpy person, but he's just kind of melancholic and cynical and just a funny kind of. I think Jerry's like an actual asshole, from what I can tell and what I've heard. So. Well,
he also made a good film.
The B movie's better than Garfield, I will say.
I don't know about that.
I think it's more narratively interesting.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. For sure. It's bananas narrative.
Yeah, it's weird.
So how'd you feel about our bad guy here, Happy Chapman?
He was okay.
I liked where they went with him. I liked that he was kind of miserable and allergic to cats, but he's forced to work with a cat. That's his only source of income right now at this minute. I like that his brother is more successful than he is, and his brother is on TV, has actual airtime.
That is funny.
You know, that's just hilarious. And I love that he uses the shock collar as his evilness.
Yeah.
That's how inhumane he is. And they tell you that in the film.
A couple times.
A few times.
Yeah, I did like his brother at the very end saying, like, when he's on the screen and they're covering the arrest, and he's like, oh my god, that's my brother. And they get off screen. It's like that's so stupid. That's probably my favorite part. That was the funniest part to me. I forgot about that. Yeah, the shock collar thing was funny, and it's like so kiddie in a good way. It really is. It works for some reason.
Well, watching it then, it was, like a harsh moment, I guess, watching Odie get shocked by the collar. But now as an adult, I'm even more angry. I'm pissed that this guy is even daring to use this inhumane device on a poor little puppy. So it got me. It got me on the villain evilness of this dude.
Man, what do you give this movie on your Letterboxd? I need to know.
I don't know if I've rated it on my Letterboxd. It's so important to my childhood, and this is one of the few movies I've ever bought with my own money growing up. You know, back before I even had a job, like, I used my allowance money
That's crazy.
to buy this movie. And I bought it, and it's on my iTunes.
That's so funny.
And I've had it for years. So it's hard to me. It's hard for me to kind of separate that from analyzing this movie like I should be, because I did notice some of the bad CG, some of the repetitive jokes, some bits that bothered me a little too much, where when something would happen to Odie and he wouldn't react, in the sense of, Garfield hit the shit out of him and he didn't yelp. He didn't do that, that little dog yelp that they do.
Yeah.
There were several times that he would get hit, or there was a situation where it would cause for that kind of little yelp or a little bark, or just little tiny things here and there that could have made it way better. For Odie, okay, you're not making him talk, but he still yelps, he still barks, and he does that throughout the film. He's not completely mute, so some of those elements could have been better.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised they didn't add little yelps. I wonder if it would have anything to do with implying too much, like, violence, and we would have lost, I assume, G rating.
You think so?
Maybe.
Because Garfield whacks the shit out of him with the pillow. And then when they were dancing on the front porch, and then his friends saw him, they were like, hey, look, Garfield and Odie are friends. Garfield pushes the shit out of him away, and nothing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Odie's tough.
Maybe Odie's tough, yeah.
Does he yelp when he gets flipped?
Yes.
Okay.
So I guess it takes a shot caller to get him to yelp a tiny bit.
Okay.
But there was so much cuteness and little tiny details that I can overlook all that. In the intro, we have pictures of baby kitten Garfield, and it's fucking adorable. And it's kind of like what people who kind of treat their pets like kids, like they call them, your fur babies. It's what they would do. They have pictures like that of their pets, not displayed out in their living room or anything, because I don't think people really do that anymore. There's no pictures like that.
Yeah,
but,
that's a funny thing, isn't it?
But definitely on their phone.
Yeah, their wallpaper.
For sure,
yeah.
Their wallpaper. Yeah, my desktop screen and
Yes.
everything on my phone, my
That's kind of
Apple
funny.
Watch background.
That is the new, like, displaying it around your house.
Yeah.
Put it on your desktop and your phone and everything. Yeah, that's funny.
Garfield's got this tiny, cute ass bed, and he's got his little teddy bear, Pookie, I think that's his name, and he hugs it. I don't know if you saw that bit when Odie climbs on the bed when he first came home. He climbs on the bed, and Garfield's like hugging his little bear, and he's like, John's not gonna let you stay on the bed. And John lets him stay on the bed, and he like hugs it a little tighter. Like, just, that's adorable, cute little tiny details. And then in the montage when Garfield is singing, which that's just so cute. That's one thing I saw in a lot of reviews that people didn't like. Like, why the fuck is Garfield singing? What is this, a musical now? Like, shut up. He's expressing himself. And when he's singing, we get a little montage of him, going around the house trying to get back inside. And then
that's such a weird thing. This is like a mega child's film. What child's film doesn't have a musical number?
Exactly.
That's a weird thing to say.
It is a weird thing to say. But in that montage,
and we're getting Bill Murray singing. Like, that's funny. That's just funny. That exists in that montage.
Yeah, in the montage, he's John's giving Odie a bath, and you don't think about it until after, and then he runs away and he doesn't have his collar on because John gave him a bath. And it's it's the tiny details, I guess, that I appreciate. The jokes, I think the jokes were hilarious, even if they were said twice. And oh my gosh, these reviews were killing me. I couldn't even read them because someone was mad that when Garfield fell through the lasagna truck, they're like, oh, that should have killed him. Okay, maybe.
Yeah, he probably, also wouldn't have gone through the truck. You're going to say that too?
He also wouldn't have gone out of his house to go save a dog.
Yeah. He also wasn't going to set this Rube Goldberg, mechanism. He also wasn't going to trick this Doberman. He also wouldn't have his own bed probably in 2004. He might today. Yeah,
it's part of the fun, him going through a lasagna truck, falling in, and people are just so mad about it. They're mad about the singing. They're mad about them dancing to the Black Eyed Peas. They're mad about the lasagna truck. And then I think they were complaining about all the food jokes that Garfield does. Like, okay, we get it, you're fat. That's funny. That's part of the fun.
I don't know about the comic really, but I imagine he's probably a pretty flat character, and lasagna is always like a punchline in almost every comic kind of thing.
Food and lasagna, yeah.
So like they're just, they're trying to stay as true as possible, and it seems like they're doing a pretty good job, for what they have. Again, I think it's amazing that there is a Garfield movie. I feel like that was probably pretty hard to pull out. Now, one reason it's probably so short is that it's just, where could you have possibly gone with this,
It's cute. It is what it is.
Yeah, no, I think this is an extremely serviceable movie. Like, I'm glad I've seen it. I'm glad I, saw it several times when I was young. I will say you're probably the only person I've ever met who remembers it.
Probably because I watched it a little bit too much. Or what do you mean? Like, I actually remembered it from 2004 and bought it a little bit older.
It's kind of a funny, important movie to one's life because it's not like Shrek or Ice Age or one of the early Pixar films. It's Garfield the movie. That's kind of a funny thing to have in your like early cinema vocabulary. Everybody's cat movie is the Aristocats, if they have one, right? That's a pretty iconic Disney film, especially pre-90s.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the commercial film, commercial director, and there's nothing wrong with Bill Murray selling out, to pay the bills, to allow him to do the things he wants to do, Bill, if that's something that eats you up, man, don't let that eat you up. That's fine. I wish I could sell out. I wish I was in a position to sell out. I'll play Garfield any fucking day of the week.
Yeah, look at all these great actors who sold out in Sunshine.
Did the movie make money? I can't remember. That's so funny.
No, Sunshine did not make any money. The budget was $40 million, but the box office was $32. It lost money.
Well, the actors probably still, they probably made out on top then. They're like, all right, we dodged a bullet, I liked that Garfield sort of managed to find his way to the city by looking at the back of a cereal box. That's
it was his little kitty nuggets box. His kitty kibbles? Something. I don't know what they called it.
Oh, yeah, and I guess it was kind of graphically designed like a cereal box, I should say. Yeah, that's funny. That's cute. I like that.
He's like, how long will it take to get there? Paw and a half.
Yeah.
It's so, yes, it's a little childish, but it's very cartoonish. Cartoons feel childish sometimes.
Yeah, and they're not.
Like that joke he made when, John's like obsessing over Liz, and he's like, John, why? Just let her leave you. Why do we want a vet living with us? I thought that was hilarious. That killed me.
And then he said it was creepy with her being around the house.
Yes.
That's funny. This is like, I don't mean anything by this really, but this is like a proper little kid movie where it's like, there's a little bit of something for the kids, a little bit of something for the older folks, and it's just, it knows what it is. It delivers. It doesn't get in its own way. Where, Garfield hates Odie. Garfield's living his life. He's fucking forced to deal with Odie, hates him, basically makes him run away. And he's like, fuck, now I gotta go get him. Garfield's on a mission. All right, that's it. And, I guess for 1 ounce of believability, we gotta have John and Liz right on his trail, right on his tail, I guess, to make sure he gets home safe and everything. But,
right.
But yeah, it's funny that this movie actually works.
It's great for its time, and I think it holds up fairly well. I would want to show the nieces and nephews this film, and I think they would laugh. I think they would like it. What else can you ask for,
Yeah. You're bringing laughter to millions, Bill.
Exactly, Bill.
Don't be embarrassed.
Jesus. Don't hide behind your thousands of dollars. Millions. Of dollars. I guess at that time, I don't know his financials. He could be broke.
He probably made $20 million on this film.
Oh shit.
Probably. Did they miss an opportunity to play Who Let the Dogs Out during the dog contests when they all scattered? That's what I felt like should have played. I don't know what played. I think it may have been Black Eyed Peas again.
Yeah, it was that Hey Mama song.
But did they miss an opportunity? You don't get a lot of chances to play Who Let the Dogs Out when the dogs are running,
That's true. I feel like they had a weird amount of advertising things. I don't know what you call them, but just advertising, I guess, in this movie. Because we had that Wendy's commercial, and then at the dog show, there was a giant Petco sign in the back.
I didn't see that.
What else? It was another one I noticed. I think it was like a Pepsi thing. And maybe the Black Eyed Peas were...
less so probably. But yeah, maybe.
Like super popular then. So they want to kind of advertise that.
Maybe. But Wendy's and Pepsi and all them, for sure, they were cutting some checks to be part of this.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I want to say there was more, but I can't remember them. I should have written them down. But maybe the Who Let the Dogs Out song was overused then too. I feel like that was played a lot in dog movies.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of dog movies, so I'm not familiar. I think there was one. Didn't that song play in one of the Rugrats movies?
Yes.
That was around this time, probably.
I think so.
So we didn't want to get too close to that. Which is ironic because Garfield would later be acquired by Viacom, who owns Nickelodeon. We're going to have to get you to play as Garfield in the new Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl game.
Ooh, I'm excited. Is he coming to it?
So he was free DLC in the first one.
Okay.
And I think he's going to be part of the base roster in the second one.
Okay.
So we'll see. That game was decent.
Yeah, I don't remember that game too much. But I think I played briefly with you, and it didn't really stick out, but it was just fun to look at.
Yeah, it was pretty bare bones for a fighting game. It had a lot of your Smash Brothers sensibilities and kind of button layout, but it was definitely missing an element of sophistication to kind of go anywhere, I think. But I think it was pretty well received in fighting circles, but it didn't. It sold well enough to get a sequel. So I mean, that's true. But it didn't review well or anything. I thought it was decent. Okay. I definitely will play a sequel.
Well, now I will. Garfield's on it.
Now you gotta play as Garfield.
Oh yeah, I think I just liked playing as Reptar when I played with you.
Yeah, Reptar was like the Bowser ripoff or clone.
The clone.
That's what they call them, clones.
Oh really?
Yeah, or echo characters.
Oh okay,
Mm-hmm.
That's an actual. That's an actual term.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, do you have any final thoughts for me?
Watch this film with your
loved ones.
Sure, but with your childhood eyes. You know, go back in time when you weren't so
grumpy,
when you weren't so what's that word? Jaded. When you were carefree, when stupid stuff made you laugh, when you didn't complain about every single thing. Go back there and watch this film. And then let me know what you think. Let me know if you're like, it still fucking sucks. I tried that. Then okay, it is what it is.
Yeah, it was a nice positive message. I like that. We should probably practice that a little bit more here and there. But yeah, cool. Well, thank you for watching this film with me.
Thank you for watching this film with me. I was so excited you allowed me to pick this.
You're welcome. Do you have a game for me? Let me get your budget guess. What do you think? We've been hyping this up. How much do you think this movie cost to make?
Now I'm not confident at all with my budget guess. I gave it 20 to 25 million.
So this movie cost $50 million.
Okay. Twice what I guessed. Why?
I don't know how this movie cost $50 million. And in today's money,
yeah.
I mean, that's going to be pushing almost $70 million
Holy
probably.
Fuck. No way. No way.
Probably like I would guess probably 68. That's what I would guess. If you account for inflation. I don't know how this movie cost $50 million. It's insane.
Were there a lot of sets?
There were several, yeah. You know, we had the whole fucking cul-de-sac.
Okay.
So there is that. But if I had to guess, that was all on a studio lot already pre-built, if I had to guess. So
that costs less.
So it costs less, yeah. But I don't know. Maybe they had to build it all out. If they built it all out, oh my God. That's where the money was at.
Okay.
Building costs a lot of money, obviously, right? The Los Alamos section of Oppenheimer cost $20 million to build on a $100 million budget.
And that was like almost barren. It was just dirt.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my God.
Like, building stuff is expensive, obviously, but it's, you know, it kind of helps put things into perspective. Yeah, this fortunately didn't matter. They made $203 million. They made lots of money making this film. I'm sure the sequel did well too, because this was obviously driven by children, which, you know, which is cool. You know, look at Mario. Mario's great, but, you know,
another great movie.
It made $1.34 billion because of kids, you know.
That's awesome that this movie made so much money.
Yeah.
That's great. Take that, Bill Murray.
I know, and I'm sure he makes some kind of residuals. What do they call them? Is that the word? Some kind of royalty-esque thing on this too. So he probably, I don't know if actors get, or I'm sure it depends on the contract. I'm sure it's different for, you know, any production, but yeah, man. Thank you for that guess. Not too close though. Better luck next time.
Dang.
Do you have a game for me though? I like your games.
I do have a game. Probably be a little quick.
What's your game? That's okay.
All right, I have a rapid fire game for you today.
All right, bet.
First, Garfield or Crookshanks?
Who is Crookshank?
From Harry Potter?
Is
Hermione's
that a Filch's cat? Oh.
No, man. Oh God. Well, I know your answer now. Because they're both fat orange cats. Hermione's cat.
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I don't.
Eats Peter Pettigrew, or tries to eat Peter Pettigrew. He's trying to save everybody.
Is her cat nice? Is it a pleasant cat? Does she get along with it?
Yes.
I'm picking Hermione's cat.
And Ron just hates him because he's trying to eat the rat.
Yeah, no, I'm picking Hermione's cat.
You are?
Yeah.
All right.
Garfield's causes a little bit too much trouble. He's a little too much for me.
Garfield's a bully.
He destroyed John's living room.
He didn't mean to.
I know. But I don't have the money to fix all that. You know what I mean?
All right, well, I'm picking Garfield. All right, Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas, the girl.
Yeah, I know Fergie.
Okay. Now I don't know what you know.
Doesn't she sing that song?
She sings a lot of songs.
About my milkshakes bring other boys to the yard. Is that Fergie?
Yes, I think that's Fergie. No, that's not Fergie.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know Fergie, I
All
think.
Right. She sings that song, Big Girls Don't Cry.
Yeah, I know that song.
All right, that's Fergie.
Big girls are especially crying, just saying.
Or Gwen Stefani.
Oh, that's a little tough, isn't it? Can I see some pictures?
Can you see some pictures? All right. Here's your Gwen Stefani.
Okay.
All right. There's your Fergie.
We got bananas versus big girls.
Huh, I guess they're compared a lot because there's a lot of side-by-side Fergie Gwen Stefani photos on Google. Yeah. Crying or bananas?
I'm gonna go Fergie.
You're going to go Fergie? All right. I guess after looking at the pictures, I don't know what made you decide that.
I like the Black Eyed Peas. They're alright. Gwen Stefani's, I don't know. She's got the banana song, and that's all I really know, you know. And
But she didn't help you how to spell bananas?
no.
Oh.
And she's on The Voice. I'm just, sometimes at least, I don't know. And I don't know. I'm going Fergie. She's got more culture. She feels like, you know what I mean?
I guess. I'm going Gwen Stefani.
Okay. Why?
I like more of her songs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't really know
Yeah.
their songs.
Okay.
So that's a tough one. I gotta go with Fergie, though.
All right. Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Wait.
Cats.
All right. We're done here. Just
Am I eating them?
Is that how you interpret this question?
If I'm eating one, it's gonna be a dog. But I prefer cats in any other way.
What about to torture?
To torture, that's about equal.
Oh. Okay. All right. I'm going with cats too.
Yes, sir.
All right. Happy Chapman or Edgar from the Aristocats. They both like to kidnap.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I feel like Edgar. Because if he's kidnapping and I'm seeing it, I could feel like I could beat the shit out of Edgar.
You don't think you could beat the shit out of both of them?
I mean, Edgar is kind of like hunched over and skinny and, right?
Well, he's got a big belly, but he's got skinny arms and... I mean, he's also a cartoon, but...
Exactly. Could fucking erase his ass from the
could
planet.
Erase his ass. Yeah, I'm going Edgar too, but I'm going off of villain quality.
Yeah, I don't really remember the Edgar, his villainness from the film.
He kidnaps him and throws him in a bag and then tosses them in over a creek.
That's pretty fucked up. That's a little more fucked up.
Over money, basically. I
Yeah.
think the old lady is like...
He's definitely more evil.
Yeah, the old lady is gonna leave her money, I think her inheritance, whatever, to her cats. And Edgar overhears that, and he thought she was leaving it to him because he's taken care of her all these years, and he's the butler, and you know all that shit.
It's kind of fucked up of her though.
Yeah, I agree. And then he goes and tosses them, and sayonara, kitty babies.
Damn. You know, I don't remember that. I like that movie, but I forgot about that shit. Yeah, I'm going Edgar from every angle because I like the art style of Aristocats is obviously awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I could beat the shit out of Edgar if I needed to. I like his evilness. The movie is better, just in general. And I feel like Chapman might have the money to have lawyers, so can't get involved with that. You know what I mean?
I mean, fair. I guess he don't have any money now. He's arrested.
That's true.
I don't know what happens to Edgar. I don't remember. Okay, next and last question. Airplanes or trains?
Airplanes.
Airplanes, because they're faster?
Yeah, they're just cooler all around. They're faster. Cooler. They look cooler. They travel in a much cooler way. Some airplanes shoot other airplanes down. That's cool.
Have you ever been on an airplane?
Yeah, several times.
Okay, so you've been on an airplane and trains. I know you've ridden trains.
Mm-hmm. I used to ride the trans, the Amtrak.
Amtrak.
Which, that's what the train was here, too.
Oh,
they were riding Amtraks.
I've never ridden a train, so I don't know. But that sounds fun as hell. So I'm going to pick train.
The train is where it's like, when you're riding the train, you're basically paying for time to, like, have a new friend, meet someone. You're going to be hooting and hollering by the time you arrive at your place.
Oh, that's cool.
That's going to happen.
Okay.
That's what happens on a train.
See, I feel like a plane it's too much anxiety, and it's not the height thing or the I'm gonna die thing or turbulence or whatever.
That you're fucking packed in there like sausages.
You're packed in there like sausages.
It's not quite like that on a train. You have a lot more room.
And then just the process of getting in
the
plane. And then you want a cheaper ticket, you're gonna have to
be packed in there even tighter.
Well, you're gonna have to what's that called? When you have like several stops to get to your final stop.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Connect?
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, I know you're talking about. I don't think I've ever done that.
I think when I went to New York, we had to stop at Atlanta or Chicago. It was somewhere in between. And then we went to New Jersey at that airport, and then we went to the city by a bus. So it was like too much.
Bus travel sucks. I've never driven very far on a bus, I've never ridden very far in a bus, but bus sucks. I fucking hated riding the bus to school.
Oh, I loved riding the bus to school.
Oh my god.
You had so much me time riding the bus to school.
I guess.
You could read, you could do your homework.
That's fair. You could read.
You didn't.
Oh, the homework too? Yeah.
I was taking advantage of that shit. I didn't have no homework at home. Except, I guess, when I started taking AP classes. But before that, did all my homework either at school or on the bus. Boom, done.
I'm never going to forget the lady I met. I think it was the very last time I rode the train. Her name was Ellie. She's this old woman. And I mean, that was probably, 8 years ago at this point. And she was quite the old woman, probably 70 or so. So she was up there, and she was going to meet her. I think she was going to meet her child, her daughter, and her grandchildren for Christmas. And we just.
Oh, okay.
She sat next to me. We sat next to each other, and so we were on the train for probably like 8 or 9 hours together, and we hit it off. And she told me she was gonna buy me some of my pots, but
did she?
No, she never did. She told me she was going to call me one day, too, and told me to pick up. And she said, don't forget me.
That sounds weird to me from this end, but...
Well, after an 8-hour trip I just spent, we just told each other our life stories, and, so it's, maybe not as weird.
Okay, yeah, I have no experience sitting next to a stranger for that long.
Yeah, she's probably in my top 5 for talking to someone so consecutively in such a short amount of time than like probably anyone else really ate at. We talked for the whole time basically.
Wow.
Made the time, makes it go by fast too, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm never gonna forget about her. Her name was Ellie.
All right, Ellie, if you're listening for some weird reason.
That'd be crazy.
That'd
I
be
hope
insane.
she's doing okay. It's been a while. Hope she's doing okay. Yeah, and I remember when we pulled up, I'm never going to forget the image, too, of her daughter and her grandchild there, and just the departure and us diverging, and that's the last time I ever saw her, of course,
This sounds like a movie.
I'm going to make a movie about Ellie. The whole movie's going to take place. It's just going to be dialogue on a train.
I'm not watching
and
that
it's going
movie.
to be sad as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Why is it going to be sad? What is wrong with you? Why would you make a movie with just mainly dialogue and make it sad?
I can tell you how. We're going to talk for, 50 minutes in the movie, an hour of the movie, and we're going to depart, and we're going to go on our ways, and we're going to, I, as the main character, will have some time pass, and I'll receive a call, and it'll be in Ellie's name. It'll be from Ellie's phone. It will be... what's the word? It'll be on her behalf. It'll be on Ellie's behalf, and I'll answer, and it'll be this person, maybe her child, telling me that I was to receive a call when Ellie passed away. And so then there's the movie. There's the sad part.
What if she left you her inheritance?
That'd be crazy.
That'd be a happy movie.
That'd be... I couldn't take that. I guess I'd take it because she did it, but I feel like that's to be fucked up. She should give it to her kids. But yeah, plane. Train took forever. I fucking hated it. Well, thank you for watching this film with me. Thank you for suggesting it, especially. And thank you guys for listening to this fine episode. Was this a fine episode?
Yes.
Thank you. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmistines. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/filmistines, and follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching, keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmistines, signing off.